My boyfriend's ex-girlfriend lost her memory, her recollections frozen in the year they loved each other most. To help her regain her memory, they cooked, played, and kissed in my bridal chamber, even making a video that went viral on YouTube overnight. In a late-night live stream, the girl cried, "Everyone has moved on, why am I the only one trapped in love?" Countless netizens were moved to tears, urging me to give my boyfriend back to his ex. I was cyberbullied to the point where my pregnancy became unstable, and I tearfully called my boyfriend. He hung up impatiently. "Haley, it's just a month, she'll leave once she regains her memory, don't you have that much grace?" Grace. The next day, I went to the hospital for an abortion, sent him the package. Oh, I heard he went mad. That night, just after I stepped out of the bathroom, I was pinned against the door and kissed. Feeling a familiar scent, I pushed him slightly. "I haven't dried my hair yet, we'll dry it later," he said, not letting go. "Have you been drinking?" I smelled alcohol on him. Neil didn't stop. It was the first time he, usually so composed, was this passionate. Suddenly, the bedroom door opened. I saw a pair of eyes staring intensely at me. "Riley," I gasped in shock. Neil stiffened at the sound of the name, instantly sobered up and pushed me away. "What are you doing standing there?" He was speaking to the girl outside, his tone carrying a gentle rebuke. I grabbed a piece of clothing to cover myself, looked again at the girl outside. She had regained her usual innocent demeanor. "The bedroom light is broken." "I got scared," the girl said, her large eyes filled with innocence. I glanced at Neil, who, looking annoyed, was walking towards the bed. "I told you not to come upstairs. This isn't your place." The girl looked upset, her voice quivering. "Sorry for disturbing you." Then she covered her face and ran off. I felt Neil was a bit harsh, but couldn't help feeling relieved. Later, Neil lost interest, took a bath, and lay down to read, but after I dried my hair, I noticed his book was still on the table of contents. I was about to say something when he got up, started searching for tools in the drawer. "I'll go check on it," he said, holding the tools. Noticing me staring, he explained, "She has night blindness." I felt a jolt in my heart, but only managed to say, "Okay," after Neil left. I saw his phone light up on the bedside. I was about to turn it off, but then I saw a message on the screen. "Bro, do you have to be mad at everyone? Riley got married. We went, didn't dare to tell you because she asked us not to. It was hard for us too. Besides, it's all in the past. She's divorced now." I didn't dare to read further, quickly turned off the screen. Riley was the girl from earlier, also Neil's ex-girlfriend. She had been living at my house for a week because she lost her memory after being saved from a suicide attempt. Her memory was stuck 6 years ago. That was the year she and Neil were most in love in college. The doctor said that she only remembers Neil, and suggested that she spend more time with him to regain her memory. Initially, Neil was firmly against it. "Sorry, I have a girlfriend now." However, he couldn't stand Riley's mother kneeling on the ground, pleading, "Neil, please consider the help I provided for your high school and college education, and save her. I can repay you for the tuition. I have only this daughter. I just want her to live well." Eventually, Neil softened his heart, and he told me, "If you don't agree, I'll have to send them away." So, the decision was left up to me. Standing there, I felt like I was under intense pressure. Riley's mother, who is a leader at my company and was instrumental in my hiring, was now kneeling in front of me. Abandoning all her dignity, everyone was waiting for my response, as if I had no choice but to agree. In the end, I agreed to let her stay here for a month. Tonight, they both went to a high school reunion. When Neil came back, he was visibly upset and didn't speak to her at all. Was his heavy drinking and anger tonight because of her? Could it be that Neil, the always gentle and composed lawyer, lost control because she was married? In fact, before this, Neil always maintained a confident demeanor, handling provocations with utmost calm and beating opponents decisively. He was a legend in the law firm. He had never lost a case. Neil returned quickly. In less than 10 minutes, he was silent upon his return. We lay back to back on the bed. I was restless and couldn't sleep, suddenly feeling his hands around my waist. "Can't sleep again." His voice was gentle in my ear. "I had some tea earlier tonight," I confessed. He paused. "I've told you not to drink tea at night. Why don't you listen?" "I was rushing a draft tonight," I explained. He moved his hands to the back of my neck, gently massaging like he would soothe a child to sleep. "Don't stay up late. I shrank my neck. Okay. After massaging for a while, he sighed. You are less of a worry. Oh, so he likes that I am less of a worry. Who is more of a worry then? Neil is 2 years older than me but much more mature. Colleagues say I found a daddy boyfriend. He wants to manage everything and won't let me do things on my own. Always very gentle, like an older brother, we were introduced by a colleague and started dating 2 years ago. I remember trying on many outfits on our first meeting, standing in front of the mirror, feeling not perfect enough, thinking I had no chance. I just wore a tracksuit and went without makeup. We talked back and forth. I learned that he had a car, a house, a high salary, and a good career in front of him. My insecurities were fully exposed. I'm not worthy of you. I blurted out the last sentence and walked away. The next day, a colleague came to tell me that he had asked for my phone number, mentioning he was very pleased with me. It felt like a pie had fallen from the sky. I never expected that one day the fairy tale of Cinderella and Prince Charming would happen to me. After a few meetings, we made our relationship official. However, for 2 years, he never introduced me to his parents. He said, "My hometown is too far away. I'll take you there later." He also never introduced me to his friends. They are all lawyers, very sharp-tongued, and I was afraid you'd be bullied. It was even me who brought up marriage. He didn't respond immediately, but the next day, he ended up in the hospital with a bleeding stomach from stress, and I spent the whole night taking care of him. When he woke up the next day, he calmly asked me, "Do you still want to get married?" Surprised and delighted, I nodded, just as the wedding preparations were complete. His first love came back. Over the weekend, Riley cooked the meal voluntarily. During the meal, she skillfully picked out the cilantro from Neil's bowl, mentioning, "He doesn't eat cilantro." I was stunned. We once had a fight because I forced him to eat cilantro. He threw up and told me I didn't love him as I was forcing him to eat something so repulsive. She explained naturally. Thinking back, I was too headstrong. I watched her calmly, but my mind flashed back to a moment when Neil and I were eating hot pot together. He looked at the cilantro in my bowl, questioning, "What does cilantro taste like? Why do you all like it so much?" At that time, I didn't know who "you all" included. Was she, Riley, that person? "Now I like it," Neil said with a grim face as he moved his bowl aside. Riley paused, her eyes suddenly welling up with tears. "In just a few years, you've changed so much I barely recognize you." The meal felt awkward, and I felt like an outsider, helpless and puzzled. That night, Riley posted a video on YouTube showing Neil's back, with a caption, "My memory stops at the year I loved him most, the boy who biked 20 kilometers just because I asked him to." He told me we broke up 6 years ago, that he has a new girlfriend, bought a house, a car, and has become a successful lawyer in this city. He fulfilled all the promises he made to me in his youth, except he left me behind. Why has everyone moved on, leaving me trapped in love alone? The video went viral overnight. In just a few days, netizens dug up all the information about the people involved. Days later, everyone knew about our situation. Colleagues at the office joked about it. An ex cries, and the current partner loses. You better keep a close watch on your lawyer Neil. A man never forgets his first love. And no one can replace it. Hearing this, it was hard not to feel anxious. Riley was very cute, with big eyes that made one feel pity. She was lively and had a sweet laugh, clearly brought up in a wealthy family, with an innocent and carefree demeanor that any man would want to protect. I'm different. I'm just an ordinary office worker, plain-looking, conservative, boring, insecure, and sensitive, due to a lack of security. I only dare to show a fraction of my love for Neil. Despite feeling it intensely, throughout the day, I can't help but frequently check social media platforms and read comments. I realized my ex-girlfriend's name and my current girlfriend's are similar. One's Riley, the other's Haley. What is this? Substitute literature. Substitute. Suddenly, my mind goes blank. I remember asking Neil on our first date, "What do you like about me?" He just smiled, silent, and gently touched my head. One evening by the river, as the night breeze blew, he suddenly smiled and said, "Your name sounds beautiful, Haley." Beautiful, but he only holds me close and calls me Lay affectionately when he's drunk. When sober, he always formally calls me Haley. Hearing your name makes me feel like we've known each other for a long time. I was shaken by his words at that moment. Does he still remember me? That night, I couldn't sleep. Was it merely because my name resembles that of his ex-girlfriend, Riley? He didn't remember me at all. Downstairs, I ran into Neil, and we went home together. Riley was there, hugging the big goose pillow I bought, laughing hysterically while watching SpongeBob SquarePants. "Do you guys want to join me?" she asked, beaming like a child. "No," Neil said dismissively as he tossed his coat and headed upstairs. "It's childish. What about you, sis? Do you want to watch?" Riley looked a bit hurt. "I've got a report to finish." I headed upstairs too. Only I knew Neil was lying. On weekends at home, he always curled up alone on the couch watching SpongeBob SquarePants. Whether he was happy or sad, silently focused on the screen. At that time, I thought, a reserved lawyer who loves SpongeBob SquarePants was endearingly contradictory, which made me like him even more. Why did he lie today? I returned to my room and found him reading. He was reading Norwegian Wood, stuck on the first page. There was a line of delicate handwriting on the first page. I didn't know who wrote it. "If we get separated," just that phrase, abruptly ending. "Do you have plans this weekend?" I approached him. What's up?" "We scheduled our wedding photo shoot, remember?" He looked at the calendar as if he just remembered. "With this weather, won't you be cold shooting outdoors?" "It'll just be for a little while. I should be fine." "Why are you always so strong?" He pulled me closer. "I'll go buy some hand warmers for you to use during the shoot." "Okay, look, he's so gentle. He still loves me." His caring words dispelled all the gloom of the day. Thinking of a coworker's comment, I hugged him, but he restrained my wandering hands. "Is it almost that time of the month?" "What, the 15th? He reminded me." I paused, stunned. "No, I'm first. Did I remember wrong?" He frowned in recollection. I, however, remembered earlier in the day when Riley asked me if we had any brown sugar at home. She looked pale and uncomfortable. A wave of desolation washed over me. He hadn't remembered wrong. He was very clear. "But it wasn't about me. You've been working too hard these days. You should rest early." He pinched my cheek. "I always work like this. I'm worried you're too tired." He continued to push me away. The emotions I'd been suppressing lately were starting to surface. "Are you worried I'm too tired? Or are you worried she'll come upstairs?" I brought up the topic neither of us wanted to discuss. His face changed instantly. "What are you thinking about?" "Haley, you're a sensible person." "I don't want to be sensible." I spoke with a hint of defiance. The first time I had ever talked back to Neil like this. In fact, between the two of us, he always held himself above me, and I was always the obedient, sensible, and humble one. He looked at me, sighed, and kissed me. As he began to unbutton my shirt, a scream came from downstairs. It was Riley. He paused, then continued to kiss me. "Don't mind her." But I noticed his distracted demeanor and suddenly lost interest. "Aren't you going to check?" I pushed him away. "No." His tone was firm, but his eyes hesitated. "Fine." We each lay back down in our respective spaces. "I'll go heat up some milk for you to help you sleep," he said, then headed for the door on his own. I remained silent, my fingernails digging into my palm, painfully. The next day, I felt uneasy and visibly upset. It was because of the band-aid on Riley's forehead. The band-aids were ones I had bought, stored in a box in the room where she slept. She couldn't have found them without asking me, so it was obvious who had been in her room, who had gotten it for her. "The band-aids sister bought are so cute." She pointed to her head. "How were you last night?" My hands were shaking, but I still suppressed my emotions. I went to the bathroom last night and fell." Luckily She seemed to realize she had misspoken and stopped abruptly. "I didn't disturb you guys, did I?" Seeing her delicate demeanor, the emotions inside me surged uncontrollably. "Why did you go to the bathroom next to the kitchen? Doesn't your room have a bathroom?" I questioned her. I was a bit hungry and thought of finding something to eat. So I just went there. Could she even believe her own lie? I didn't respond and went on to water the flowers in the garden. "Do you also like white roses, sister?" she asked with a smile. I looked up at the garden full of white roses. "He likes them." "Oh, does sister know? Is my gaming name White Rose?" My mind went blank, and I stared at the white roses in a daze. I remember when we were decorating our house, I liked daisies, but Neil was fond of white roses. He planted rose seedlings all over the yard himself and embraced me in the gentle breeze. When the roses filled the yard, "Let's get married." "Okay." I was overjoyed and took great care of them for half a year. Only when the white roses finally bloomed all over the yard did I realize this was the end. Can I invite you guys for dinner this weekend? At that place by the school gate. He loved it, back in our university days. She changed the subject again. This weekend Neil and I are going to take our wedding photos. We're not available, I said with a smile, interrupting her. Her smile froze there. It lasted only a second before she regained her composure. When are you guys getting married? Do you need me to be your bridesmaid? Next month. The bridesmaids are already arranged. No need to trouble you. Which day next month? She seemed skeptical, thinking I was lying to her. October 5th. She paused for a moment, then smiled. That's my birthday. He hasn't forgotten. He said he wanted to marry me on my birthday. Seeing her smug expression ignited a fire in me. Riley, regardless of what happened between you two before, Neil is my boyfriend now, and the person he is marrying is me. Don't think that just because you post on YouTube and play the victim, with public opinion on your side, that he will come back to you. You were the one who left him. Listening to my words, her face flushed with anger. And she stopped pretending. But sister, you stole the boy who promised to love me forever using my name, like a thief. Riley, you haven't lost your memory, right? I looked at her. Yes, snap. I threw down the watering can and slapped her across the face. Please leave my house. Your house. She covered her face, laughing tremulously. The house was bought by him. I said I liked houses with gardens. Right after graduation, he couldn't afford one. But now he has bought a 2-story house with a garden, and even planted my favorite white roses. He remembers my menstrual cycle. He tries the food he never liked before for me, reads the books I love, watches the cartoons I enjoy. He's afraid I might fall, so he installed voice-controlled lights in the hallway early this morning. You don't really think he has forgotten me, that he doesn't love me anymore, do you? He hates me, but he loves me more. Sister, you and he are really alike. Both deceiving yourselves. Listening to her, I felt wave after wave of numbness on my scalp. What craziness is this? A voice of reproach came from behind. Get out. It was Neil. He was scolding Riley, but it still hurt me deeply. Even though he stood by my side, there was an unresolved pain. In a panic, I turned to leave, but Neil held on to me. She's talking nonsense. You've always been sensible and understanding, don't you see? Nonsense. I suddenly found it funny. You said you liked a name so similar to hers. You said you loved her as pure as a white rose. You even set your wedding date on her birthday. You remember only her menstrual cycle. Tell me, which of these is nonsense? Aren't you a lawyer? Refute me, even if it's just a tenth of your professional skill. I'll believe you. Convince me. I was devastated. Do you love me? I asked him. Don't you feel how I treat you normally? I do feel it. You're attentive, a qualified boyfriend. But why do you get distracted when you see me, in those moments when you're lost? Are you loving me or searching for someone else's shadow? He couldn't utter a word, suddenly panicked, and quickly embraced me. Haley, she's only staying for a month. She'll leave once her memory recovers. Can't you be a bit more generous? Generous? I suddenly laughed. Then let me ask you one last question. Did you fall for me from the beginning? Or was it just because my name is so similar to hers? Haley, he lowered his voice and was about to kiss me. Don't call me, I feel disgusted. I pushed him away, grabbed my bag, and headed downstairs. He ran after me. I'm sorry for causing the argument. I might as well jump off here. Riley's crying voice came from above. Standing at the stairwell, I saw her in a white dress, teetering on the rooftop railing. Neil glanced at Riley, then back at me. In those brief seconds, I waited. He weighed his options, hesitating. He still left me with a, wait for me, and hurried upstairs. In an instant, my world collapsed. I had nowhere else to go, so I took annual leave from work and went back to my hometown. On the train home, I saw a YouTube video posted by Riley. She sat helplessly under a rose bush, her eyes red from crying. The caption read, "If we get separated, I'll wait for you right here." The internet was moved to tears again. It reminded me of that line from Norwegian Wood, "If we get separated." She must have written that too. That's why he kept reading that book over and over. So, in their on and off relationship, what am I? My grandmother was thrilled to see me back. Her face crinkled into a smile. Where's Neil? Why didn't he come back with you? She searched behind me. He's busy. I suppressed the urge to cry to avoid worrying her. Oh, do you have enough leave? Weren't you supposed to get married next month and then go on a honeymoon? Now that you're taking leave to come here. Do you have enough leave for your honeymoon? The old lady, clearly thrilled, still worried about my honeymoon leave. She didn't know that I didn't need to go anymore. I just missed you. Aren't you happy I'm back? I hugged her. Happy, of course. Grandma is happy, my precious granddaughter. She mysteriously pulled out 2 red garments from the room. Let's pick something out for Grandma. Would this be suitable for her to wear at your wedding? It was just a very ordinary red coat. But it was the best quality garment she could find. Looking at the coat, I felt a twinge in my nose and said, "They all look nice." Grandma tried on one of the coats and took my hand. "Isn't there a part in the wedding where a family elder speaks? Your dad will be out of town those days, and your mom will be very busy. Can Grandma do it?" "Don't worry. I had a college student from the village write a speech for me, but since I can't read, I memorized it. Listen." She stood in front of me as if a teacher had called on her to recite a text. "Oh, sure." I kept my head down, unable to look at her. I knew she was making excuses for my parents. They had divorced a long time ago and wouldn't even acknowledge me, let alone attend my wedding. "Here I go." Ahem. Grandma cleared her throat. "Our Haley grew up with me. An old woman who can't read, always fearing I wasn't raising her right. She was always alone, timid, often bullied by others. One day, she came home happy, telling me she had made a pen pal, a big brother, and they began writing to each other every month. She said the big brother was a great student, and she wanted to attend the same university as him, so she studied hard. Later, she stopped writing because she fell ill and missed the college entrance exam that year. During her toughest times in surgery, she cried and told me, "Grandma, I can't go to the same university as Big Brother." I didn't pass. She was alone again, until one day after starting her job, she came back from the city with a boy, her boyfriend, and she was smiling again. She secretly told me at night, that boy was the big brother who used to write letters to her. Now here I stand, witnessing her marry the man she loves. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you, Neil, for loving our Haley. Grandma hadn't finished, but I couldn't listen anymore. I rushed to the bathroom, sobbing uncontrollably. "What's wrong? Did Grandma say something wrong?" Grandma came in anxiously. "No, it was perfect." But I felt even sadder. "Did you have a fight with him?" Grandma asked as she patted my back, looking at me with concern. "No, I was crying so hard that I felt sick to my stomach and threw up twice. There must be something wrong. I knew something was off when you got back." Grandma sighed. "I'll call him." Feeling nauseous, I didn't have the energy to stop her. When I had cleaned up and came out, I saw Grandma gesturing while on the phone. Even though he couldn't see her over the phone, she still smiled pleasingly, her face crinkling up. "Not too busy. Haley's feeling a bit unwell. Could you come back and take her to the hospital?" "Okay, drive safely. Grandma has made dinner and will wait for you to come back." "So, is Neil coming over?" I felt a mix of emotions. Not really wanting him to come, yet somehow hoping he would. "Girl, don't be so stubborn. It's okay to show weakness sometimes. If I were to pass away, who would you argue with then? You should get along well with him, understand?" I covered her mouth. "Grandma, what are you talking about? You're going to live a long life." "Silly child, I would turn into an old witch then." "Quick, say, tui, tui, tui." "All right, tui, tui, tui." Neil hurried over that evening. "Where do you feel uncomfortable? Let's go to the hospital. Just do as I say." He came over anxiously to see me. You see, whenever he behaves like this towards me, I always feel that he loves me. But now, I'm no longer moved by it. "Ah, Neil, it's just me, an old woman, making a fuss because I find her presence here annoying." I lied. "You've had your dinner. Now please take her away." Neil stood there, stunned. "All right, I'm here now. Let's go home." He came over and hugged me, as if he was holding a treasure he had regained. "I've already asked her to pack her things and leave. How about we go take our wedding photos the day after tomorrow?" He coaxed me patiently. "We're getting married next month. Can you please stop making a fuss?" Worried about my grandmother, I still went back with him the next day. Grandma's health isn't good, and it was selfish of me. As an old woman, what can she really solve for me? Ultimately, if it comes to a breakup, I have to handle it myself. On the drive back, Neil unusually talked to me all the way. My mom went insane when I was little. My dad broke his leg working in the hills, and after I finished junior high, we couldn't afford the school fees anymore. Later, an entrepreneur who came to our village to help with poverty alleviation, paid for my high school and living expenses, and she also sponsored my university education. That person is Riley's mom. In university, I met Riley after we got together. Her mom found out and stopped supporting my tuition and living expenses. At graduation, Riley couldn't handle the pressure. We had a huge fight, and after that, she got together with another wealthy guy, Haley. I truly have no feelings for her anymore, but her family is my benefactor. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I can't just watch her die. Do you understand? He explained a lot, his helplessness, his gratitude, his discontent. He said he would make it up to me in the future, to treat me even better, begging me to give him another chance. After saying so much, the only thing he didn't say was that he loved me. I sat in the car, silent, not crying, just feeling tired, very tired. The next day, there was a sudden issue at his company, and although he had said he would take me to the hospital, he ended up taking many work calls on the way. I suggested he drop me off on the side of the road. Are you sure? Yeah. What would you like for dinner tonight? I'll buy it and make it for you, anything. After these instructions, I took a taxi to the hospital myself. After leaving the hospital, his colleague called me. Neil got into trouble. He beat someone up, a rich guy, and Neil smashed his nose. I panicked and hurried home. All the way, my mind was filled with what his colleague had told me. The man Neil beat up is Riley's husband. I heard her husband was abusive. Riley had jumped from a building because she couldn't take the abuse anymore and had filed for divorce, but they were still in the cooling-off period, and the man wouldn't agree to it. When she returned home, her husband immediately started beating her. Neil happened to be there to drop off her luggage and witnessed the scene, promptly getting into a fight with the man without a second thought. The wealthy family of that rich second generation won't let this go. They'll definitely try to get lawyer Neil involved. At this thought, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so he was too busy today to accompany me to the hospital because he was helping Riley with her luggage. He risked his own future for her by getting into a fight. Is this more about justice, or is it more about personal grievances? When I got home, the first floor was empty. I ran upstairs. As I pushed open the garden gate, I saw Riley crouched under the rose bush like a frightened kitten, her face streaked with tears. Neil stood nearby, hands on his hips, still in his dress shoes, not even having had the chance to change them. Why would you marry that kind of man? He demanded, out of spite. She confessed plainly, you said you wouldn't care even if I married a beggar. I wanted to see if you truly didn't care. Out of spite. You're risking your future just to spite me. Have you lost your mind? He said, kicking the rose bush in frustration as petals scattered. The girl cried even harder. I am senseless. I just love you, she sobbed, turning away, her body shaking with tears. He was at a loss for words. And you, finding someone who looks so much like me, buying her the milk tea I love, singing the songs I enjoy, buying her the dresses and the house I like, planting my favorite flowers, even planning to marry her. Aren't you also betting your life? The girl stood up, looking up at him. Admit it, you still can't forget me. You still love me the way I love you, brother Neil. Riley knows she was wrong. Can you forgive me? Let's stop torturing each other. All right. There was a moment of silence between them. Riley tried to approach him, but he pushed her away. In her despair, she reached for the thorns of the roses, injuring her hands. Unable to bear it anymore, Neil grabbed her hands. She threw caution to the wind and kissed Neil. He tried to push her away, but ended up supporting her by the waist when she almost lost her balance. Such a tragic drama. In that moment, my heart felt as if it were being torn apart. Neil, as if he had eyes in the back of his head, suddenly turned around, his gaze colliding unexpectedly with mine. Riley was smiling, and I, like a thief caught red-handed in someone else's home, panicked and fled. I ran downstairs in a flurry. Waiting for the elevator felt interminably slow. I ran down to the first floor and crouched down, covering my eyes as I cried out loud. After my crying ceased, I realized that the pregnancy report I was holding was gone. It might have been dropped at home, or in the stairwell, but it didn't matter anymore. The next day, Neil called, but I didn't answer. I ignored all his texts and messages. On the third day, I heard that he was busy fighting a divorce case for Riley. He completely rescued her from the clutches of a demon. She got divorced. Her ex-husband was sent to prison. Lawyer Neil has always been formidable. he has never lost a case. He used his most pride-worthy assets to win the world for the girl he loved. On the fourth day, I came across Riley's YouTube. It featured a picture of him accompanying her during an for treatment, with the caption, "My amazing lawyer Neil. Even if the whole world rejects me, when I turn around, he will always be my solid support." The comments were filled with sweet remarks, and many chipped in money. Someone in the comments section asked, "What about his current partner? No news." She probably gracefully bowed out, "Right, what if she comes back to fight for him? I'm so worried. Am I the only one hoping the current one would just disappear? She's just a thief." Lying in the hospital bed, watching others reach their happy endings, I couldn't help but shed tears. It turns out, seeing others' happiness can genuinely make you cry. I took out my phone and replied under that comment, "Then, should I also send a wedding gift?" On the fifth day, I packaged the keys to the house and a report of an abortion procedure and sent them to Neil. Neil called soon after, but I didn't answer. He was interrupting my gaming, but strangely, his capabilities were even greater than I imagined. The local courier had just received the package half an hour ago, and there he was, appearing in my hospital room. His speed was just as astonishing as his professional skills. "You were pregnant." "Yes, I was gaming and didn't want to deal with him." "What about the baby?" "Gone." He turned pale with anger. Finally, the always calm and composed Neil smashed my phone and everything else in the room. "Riley, you malicious woman, you don't deserve love. I never loved you." After his outburst, he left. I picked up my phone, buried my head, and continued gaming. Why isn't this player moving? I'm going to report them later. So annoying. I'm undergoing chemotherapy. I typed. The response was a, "Never mind. If anyone on the opposite team touches her, all four of us will fight you." I laughed so hard I started crying. Lawyer Neil is really something, always knowing where it hurts the most and especially skilled at rubbing salt in the wounds. The wedding was called off. Neil never visited the hospital again. Later, I quit my job and went back to my hometown. Grandma stayed by my side in the hospital every day. "Is that it between you two?" Grandma asked me. "What do I have to fight with?" I looked at my bald reflection in the mirror. I look so ugly. Grandma placed a wig on my head. "Nonsense. You are not ugly. My granddaughter is the most beautiful girl in the world." "Grandma, what does it feel like to have a child in your belly?" I asked her. "He'll kick you. Move around when you talk to him. Later, you need to tell him stories to keep him calm. The moment you stop, he'll start fussing. Your mom was just as mischievous when she was in my belly. I dreamt of him last night. Did you see what he looked like?" Clearly, Grandma looked at me with hopeful eyes. His eyes were round, just like Grandma's, and his lips were thin, like Neil's. He stretched out his hands for me to hold him, but the moment I reached out, he fell from the rooftop, covered in blood. I cried again. Grandma used her handkerchief to wipe my tears. "Don't cry, my dear granddaughter. Don't cry. You're still young. You can have children again. Your bond with the child isn't over. He will come back to be your son. It's all because Grandma didn't insist on follow-up checks after your brain tumor surgery in high school. These past few years, I didn't take you for checkups because I was ignorant, which led to the late discovery of your cancer recurrence. It's not your fault, Grandma. First, get through chemotherapy and get better. Everything will improve." Grandma turned away, secretly wiping her tears. "Forget it. Him choosing me as a mother is quite tragic. You will be a good mother in the future." I'm not. I'm definitely not. Because of my cancer, in my desperation to save my own life, I ended his. When he was removed, he was so tiny, red and bloody, like a skinned tadpole. The moment he lay on the green cloth, my heart shattered. Neil later called me. I still didn't pick up. "You're not coming back, are you? What should I do with your stuff?" "Just throw it away. I'm not obligated to deal with your trash. Come back and handle it yourself." Answer the phone. This time, I picked up. After weeks without hearing his voice, it felt strangely unfamiliar. "When are you coming back?" He sounded drunk. "I'll transfer you 500 yuan. You can hire a moving company to take my stuff away. Throw it away. Donate it. Or burn it, whatever. Where are you?" It was like he hadn't heard me. "Why are you still at the hospital?" He heard the sound of the doctor making rounds in the next bed. Blind date. Not wanting to waste words with him, I hung up. The doctor treating me was there, alongside another doctor I hadn't met before. "Are you Haley?" the other doctor asked me. "Yes." "Do you know Neil?" I paused. Yes, I'm his roommate. Do you remember me? How would I know his roommate? Did you two get married? Where is he? I was the one who answered the phone when you confessed. No, after they left, I thought a lot about the past. My parents divorced when I was very young, and afterward, fought bitterly over my brother. I was insecure and reclusive, unwanted, always staying with grandma. At grandma's, there was a cat, my only playmate during my childhood. One afternoon, the cat climbed onto the roof and couldn't get down, so I climbed a tree to rescue it, but a group of boys came and stared menacingly under my skirt. I was so embarrassed I wanted to die. A tall boy with a basketball chased everyone away. What are you looking at? If you don't need your eyes, donate them. After scolding those people, he reached out to carry me down, carefully wrapped his school uniform around my waist, and then went to pick up the kitten. He placed the kitten in my arms and gently patted my head. Don't climb trees in a skirt next time, okay? I nodded. What's its name? He asked, pointing at the kitten. Lay, that was my nickname. That's a nice name. And you, Neil. And so, on that summer afternoon, the boy named Neil shone like a beam of light into my dreary life. I noticed his school uniform said, First Middle School. From then on, I studied like mad to get into his school, and during my second year of high school, we became pen pals. He, a senior, and I, a junior. We wrote to each other every month. He didn't know who I was, but I knew him well. He shared the pressures of his senior year. I talked about missing my parents. We exchanged secrets and even planned to attend the same university. But after he got in, I missed my chance to take the college entrance exam for the second year due to a brain tumor. Repeating a year, I managed to make it to his city but not his university. On Valentine's Day in my first year of university, I mustered the courage to call his dorm and confess my feelings. Nervously, I blurted out a long speech. I've liked you for many years. Would you consider being my boyfriend? After a long silence on the phone, he said, Well, yes, but I don't even know your name. Haley, nice to meet you. Haley, I'm Leo. We haven't met before. Why don't you give me your address? And let's start as friends instead of rushing things. Leo, I was stunned. I was looking for Neil. I had mentioned Neil at the beginning of the call, but perhaps I had said too much, and he hadn't caught that part. Neil, so you weren't confessing to me just now. He's not here. I'm sorry. Could you pass him a message then? Pass a message. You want to switch boyfriends within a minute. I'm sorry. Who made you sorry? Why are you crying? Hey, you. He sounded a bit harsh. Okay, stop crying. I won't be harsh. So, the Leo who answered the phone turned out to be a doctor. My thoughts paused there as I checked my phone and found several new messages. Which hospital? Stop messing around. Tell me what's wrong. Be a bit more cooperative. I've searched all the hospitals in B City and can't find you. I'm so tired. The child is both of ours. He's a life too. How can you make this decision alone? Why are you using this method to get back at me, that day? I was truly out of my mind. I didn't mean those words. But do you know how much pain I'm in? Where are you? Send me your location. I'm begging you. It was Neil. I gave a bitter smile. So even the high and mighty, undefeated lawyer Neil admits defeat. But still, once, when I was parched in the desert, I longed for a sip of water, but he didn't provide any. After we left the desert, he sent a whole box of water my way. But by then, I had lost interest. That night, 2 doctors came into the hospital room. Leo was there again. How is she doing? Leo asked Dr. Jack. Not very well. What about going abroad? Would that increase her chances? Dr. Jack didn't respond. Silence was his answer. Do you two know each other? Dr. Jack inquired. He glanced at me and said, Sort of. I never heard you mention her. She dumped me after being my girlfriend for just a minute. He said with a resigned smile. The patients in the room looked at us curiously. Dr. Jack left, but Leo stayed. Where is he? You're this sick and he doesn't show up. He was probably talking about Neil. We broke up. Just like that. I heard overseas that you two were quite the item, even asked me to be his best man. Can't believe he came up with that. What? Now that you're sick, he doesn't want you anymore. I remained silent for a long while before finally speaking up. You must be talking about another Riley. She shares my name but she's from your school, not me. It was cruel, and I patiently explained it to him. His face changed dramatically as he listened. That day after I picked up your call, he came back in the evening and told me he was in love. said his girlfriend's name was Haley. I thought you two were together. Figured the call wasn't for me to pass on, so I didn't mention it. My mind went blank. So, the reason I never got an answer that night was that he didn't even know I had called. I waited day after day. And finally couldn't stand it anymore and went to his school looking for an answer. On the bus, I saw him carefully shading a girl from the sun. The sunlight was so harsh that day, it stung my eyes and tears started to fall. He had a girlfriend now. I wasn't going to get an answer from him. He had fallen for Riley, and to this day, he can't let go, though he verbally claims to hate and not love. His actions and his eyes had long betrayed him. Watching the person I liked go from despising a girl to falling for her was even more painful than a straightforward breakup. Fate is indeed laughable. After graduation, I stayed in his city, taking long detours like I used to in high school, just to sneak a peek at him from a corner after class. I even secretly approached his colleague to set up a so-called blind date. He asked me if I wanted to be together. On the surface, I was nonchalant, but I went home and cried tears of joy. He didn't know that his casual step forward was the result of all my scheming and all the energy I had spent. I cautiously guarded this love, daring not to step over the line, but just when I was overjoyed at the prospect of marrying him, his first love returned. She simply said, "Admit it, you like me just as much as I like you," and just like that, he was utterly defeated. It's such a pity. I was so close to marrying the boy I fell for at 17. So, does it even matter where I am now? I'm dying. Is it better to chain a man's love with death or to exchange his guilt for cheap love? Neil, I love you. I once so longed to be loved, but now I don't need it anymore. Thank you for your honesty. We are done. I wrote this sentence in my diary. Leo has been a frequent visitor to our ward recently. You're an orthopedic surgeon. Why are you always running here, trying to steal my job? Dr. Jack complained. Mind your own business. Leo replied nonchalantly, not caring in the slightest. Then turned to ask me, are you feeling unwell anywhere? I feel dizzy. How many times have you vomited? 3 times. He reached out to touch my forehead. You're a bit feverish. Haven't taken any medicine. It tastes bad. Don't be stubborn, Leo. Are you her doctor or am I? You've taken all my lines. What am I supposed to say? Dr. Jack protested from the side. You're in the way here. Leo glared at him. Should I leave then? Dr. Jack, offended, walked away. Come here, I'll feed you. Leo handed me the medicine. It's bitter, eat quickly, and after you're done, I'll take you out. Where to? Anywhere you want to go. He didn't go back on his word. He really did take me out. We went to a movie, had milk tea, ate skewers, and even went clubbing. This Dr. Leo, he doesn't seem very conventional. First time here, yeah. He pushed me into the center of the dance floor. Don't be shy. It's too dark for anyone to recognize you. That night was a bit too much fun. He showed me that life could be lived so freely. Aren't you afraid your patients will find out you, a doctor, like to hang out in bars? I'm a doctor, not a monk. I don't need to abstain and chant. True, I really envy him. He lives like a free wind. No one can define him. In fact, even if someone tries to define him, he doesn't care at all. After a while, I noticed he was staring at me. What are you looking at? Nothing. He looked away. Are you happy? He asked me. Yeah, then let's be this happy every day. Okay. He was blunt and straightforward, though we hadn't known each other long. He talked to me like an old friend, hoping I'd be happy every day from now on. I felt a bit down. It turns out I hadn't been loved in a long time. A little gentleness from someone else, and I was almost moved to tears. What? Missing him? He noticed my mood was off. No, I was telling the truth. Let's go back. He sounded a bit irritated. Back at the hospital, he watched over me as I fell asleep, adjusted my blanket, then just stood there. In a blur, I felt someone kiss my forehead. I was too scared to move. Our day as girlfriend and boyfriend is over. He whispered softly, make sure you take your medicine, then he left. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. The next day, while I was vomiting violently, Neil arrived, dressed in a suit, his hair somewhat disheveled. He was holding a briefcase. It seemed like he had come straight from court. He stood at the nurse's station, anxiously asking questions, then turned and saw me just as I walked out of the restroom. In just a few short meters, it felt like a whole century lay between us. His hands trembled, and the briefcase fell to the floor. He hurried over. Looking at my bald head, wanting to hug me, yet somewhat at a loss. What happened to you? Why didn't you tell me? His voice was low. He had found out everything. Did Leo tell him? No need. My tone was sharp. Who are you to me? I regretted it. If I had known he would see me, I would have worn a wig like Grandma had suggested. I look hideous now. I'm your boyfriend. Your fiancé. I suddenly laughed. We broke up. I didn't agree. Lawyer Neil is still as determined as ever to win the argument. I sighed, but now it's not up to Lawyer Neil to decide. We have to ask the King of Hell. After saying that, I turned around and went back to the hospital room. He stood there stunned and then went to find the doctor. Sitting in the hospital room, I watched him through the glass window. He was pressing his temples and making phone calls, seemingly trying to reach someone. By the end of the phone calls, he looked defeated, like a lost dog, and sat powerlessly on the chair next to the hospital bed. So, you terminated the pregnancy to undergo chemotherapy. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You know, I spent nights wondering why you were so heartless. As he spoke, his eyes reddened. It was the first time he cried in front of me. I didn't feel moved, just annoyed. I had almost forgotten the pain of losing the child. Yet he insisted on reopening that wound. Even if I wasn't sick, I didn't plan on keeping the child. He was shocked. Why? I was afraid you would schedule the delivery on the anniversary with someone else, or name him after a child you promised someone else, or that netizens would attack him, saying he should die because he is unwanted. I wouldn't allow him to endure that. Upon hearing this, Neil broke down and hugged me, admitting he was wrong. I won't contact her again. Let's get married. Okay, let's marry tomorrow. Oh, he thought for a long time, believing marriage could cure my illness. No. I calmly looked at him. The last thing I needed was pity. He knew well that what I needed was love. From then on, he stayed by my side in the hospital all day, carefully taking care of me, still not giving up on persuading me to marry him. I responded coldly to him, ignored his words, avoided his gaze, and was constantly irritable towards him. I took my willfulness to the extreme. Yet he still pampered me unconditionally. Can you just talk to me when you're upset? Consider it a plea. You can hate me, be angry at me, hit me, scold me, but can you not keep everything bottled up inside? Suddenly, our roles seemed to have reversed. He humbly and cautiously catered to my irritable moods, but I found him so strange, and I still didn't want to speak a word to him. When he went to pay the bills, an unwanted visitor came to the hospital room. So, you're just trapping a man with your sickness, aren't you? How are you any more noble than me? I've been in love with him throughout his youth. Do you even know what he likes or dislikes? You're dying, so why are you fighting with me? The house you decorated, the furniture you bought, the flowers you planted, they will all be mine eventually. Really noisy. Oh, you're so confident in yourself. Why do you still need to pretend to have amnesia to win a man back? I asked her with a smile. What's wrong with pretending to have amnesia? The process doesn't matter. Now everyone is on my side. And he will accept their blessings to be with me. Isn't that good enough? I laughed even harder. Accept everyone's blessings. I heard you're starting to sell goods on YouTube. What? Are you going to live your whole life behind a YouTube persona, wearing a mask forever? It's truly pitiful, she said. You, she retorted, her face pale with anger, are just my shadow, but shadows disappear when the lights go out. I'll become a big internet celebrity, make lots of money, and buy him luxury cars and mansions. What can you offer him? Your illness is a bottomless pit. It will only drag him down, drain him, and plunge him back into the poverty of his childhood. Don't be so selfish. Oh, what next? If this had been before, hearing these words would have felt like the sky was falling. But now, I was unusually calm, because my sky had already fallen, and it seemed things couldn't get any worse. You'll die, and there will be no one to mourn your grandmother. How pitiful. If you would just give up, Riley. All right, I admit, I underestimated her. She infuriated me. My grandmother is my limit. What now? You want to hit me? She asked with a smirk. I stared at her intently, and finally, I called Neil. Fine, let's get married. I want a wedding of the century. I hung up after saying that. Neil rushed back to the hospital room quickly. Brother Neil. Riley looked confused, like a wounded bird. Please, make her leave. I covered myself with a blanket, no longer wanting to watch their melodrama. Brother Neil, you haven't been answering your phone. Leave. The sound of Neil closing the door was abrupt. Don't worry, I won't let her appear here again. Whatever. In the following days, he began preparing for the wedding. Choosing the wedding dress and rings, he managed everything himself. Grandma looked at me. Have you thought it through? Neil has stood by you. He's a real man. Do you want to see me get married? Grandma, I used to, thinking someone would love and care for you, and I, an old woman, could die peacefully. But now, I want nothing. Grandma just wants you to be happy, however that may be. If you never marry, Grandma will take care of you for life. Grandma held my hand. Are you happy, Haley? I was stunned for a moment. Initially, after being diagnosed with cancer, I was very scared. Later, I felt that since no one loved me, my existence was a burden to others, and death might even be a relief. I wasn't afraid anymore, but Riley's words suddenly made me fearful. Grandma is old. Taking care of me will only wear her out, and every additional month I live costs more money. In the end, after spending all our savings on treatment, if I still can't survive, leaving Grandma in debt. What will she do? I'm happy. I smiled at her. The day before the wedding, I didn't let Neil come to the hospital. It's a tradition, the bride and groom shouldn't see each other the day before the wedding. He obediently complied. I said to my grandma, Grandma, could you help me decorate my room back home? I want to have a beautiful wedding. Sure. Can you manage alone tonight? Grandma asked, a bit worried. There are still so many nurses around, I said, playfully hugging her. All right. My dear granddaughter, I'll go buy some balloons and streamers. I made a trip to the bank. In fact, after working for a few years, I had saved up my money. Neil paid for the renovations. I had wanted to buy a house long ago and have Grandma move in with me, but I still hadn't saved up enough for the down payment, and my medical treatments had cost quite a bit. I transferred all my money to one card and sent it to Grandma via express delivery. Then I went to eat my favorite beef noodles and bought some milk tea that I liked. I only ate a little bit of each. The things I used to enjoy now tasted bland. Moreover, eating anything made me want to vomit and feel miserable, so I couldn't eat much at all. Holding my milk tea, I staggered to a tree and sat down against it in pain. I started calling Grandma. We talked about many childhood memories. And Grandma nagged me again to sleep early and call the doctor if I felt unwell. Grandma, yes. What is it? Nothing, just wanted to call you. By the way, I especially love the braised duck you make. Just thinking about it makes my mouth water. In the middle of the night. Okay, I'll make some tomorrow and bring it over. Great, Grandma, you have to promise me, you have to live to 100. Here we go again. All right, I promise. Then, good night, good night. After hanging up, I took a few deep breaths to ease the pain. It took me a while to recover. Then I replied to a few messages from my colleagues. I had resigned abruptly, leaving many tasks untransitioned. Are you really not coming back? We all hope you'll return. Don't mind the online trolls. Yeah, okay. It turns out my colleagues thought I resigned because of the public backlash. That's fine. I sat under the tree for half an hour, and at that moment, I didn't know who else to say goodbye to. Eventually, I dialed the number that kept appearing in my dreams. I'm looking for Jane. She's bathing the kids. Who's this? Soon, a woman's voice came from the other end. Who's looking for me? Is it a scammer? Oh, that was my mother's voice. Wrong number. I hung up. I didn't have the courage or the strength to call my dad, so I let it be. With nothing else to do, I posted a recording from the day on YouTube, then deleted the app. Thinking it over, I sent a message to Leo. In the last moments of my life, I remembered this guy I'd only known for a month and wanted to say goodbye. Finally, after saying goodbye to everyone else, only Neil was left. My head was splitting, and my breathing became difficult. With my last ounce of strength, I clung to the large tree, trying to climb it. I climbed and climbed, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't make it up. After slipping down the trunk for the 10th time, I sat on the ground, weak and exhausted, my life flashing before my eyes like a carousel. As a child, I watched other parents take their kids to amusement parks. In middle school, I remember studying chemistry formulas under a dim desk lamp. I walked home from school alone, with a small orange cat playfully following behind me. In high school, I hid by the window, watching a boy inside diligently correcting his workbooks. After starting work, I had a blind date with Neil. I remember the fear and joy of our first date and my first visit to his house. Sitting in the audience, I watched him effortlessly outwit his opponents in a debate. The memories finally paused on that first afternoon I met Neil. The young man bent over and gently stroked my head, asking, what's its name, Lay, but that cat eventually died, and now, I'm in so much pain I can't even climb a tree. My youth is gone forever. If I could do it all over again, I would prefer never to have met him. At 1 in the morning, I died beside that tree I could no longer climb. The next day, my soul floated in midair. An ambulance rushed my body to the hospital. On the way, a neat line of Mercedes cars in a wedding procession passed by the ambulance. I saw Neil nervously rehearsing his speech and couldn't help but laugh. Suddenly, he looked out the window, saw the ambulance, furrowed his brow, but he didn't see me. At the hospital, he rushed up the stairs with flowers in hand, only to see my body being wheeled out covered with a white sheet, and he collapsed to the floor. Family member, please sign here. The doctor told him, I won't sign, she's not Haley. She's not my Haley isn't dead, she can't be, she's waiting for me to marry her, she won't. Everyone in the hallway watched him break down, watched as he staggered over to hold my hand, sobbing uncontrollably. Riley, I'm here to marry you. Neil, the lawyer, you look so distressed. I couldn't bear to watch anymore. I drifted away to the corridor. My grandmother, with her aged hands gripping the railing, held the bank card I had sent her and sighed deeply. My Haley won't suffer anymore. She wiped away tears and slowly made her way to my body. I didn't want to watch, afraid to see her cry, so I chose to escape. I drifted to Leo's office. He had just come from surgery and saw the message I had sent him. Dr. Leo, thank you for giving me so many firsts. You're a good man and will be an excellent doctor. I've never blamed you. Be happy. Goodbye. He smiled and replied to my message. Goodbye. Are you awake? I brought you breakfast. Oh, you fool. If I joined you for breakfast now, you'd be terrified. He changed clothes, grabbed his phone, bought breakfast, and went to my ward. Seeing my bed already assigned to another patient, he asked, where is she? She left this morning. Where did she go? She's gone. His breakfast fell to the floor with a crash. It's a pity. My favorite breakfast of soy milk and fried dough sticks. 5 days after my death, I hadn't been reincarnated yet. My soul was drifting aimlessly. Everything was fine with the old lady. Grandma was just being grandma, a person who had weathered many storms, seemingly aware of the outcome and remarkably composed. However, she cooked every day, preparing all my favorite dishes. Now, I could sneak some food early without anyone scolding me. A major event had erupted online. The short video I posted about Riley's recording went viral. Initially, it didn't attract much attention, but then someone in the comments dropped a bombshell. That girl passed away at the hospital this morning. It stirred up a massive storm online. Did Riley fake amnesia and become the other woman, driving the current one to death? The situation has collapsed. Who would have thought such an innocent-looking person could be the instigator of cyberbullying? She's disgusting. Fooled us into shedding so many tears. All just an act. The current girlfriend really had it rough. Public opinion shifted dramatically. Riley's account lost 10 million followers overnight. She received tens of thousands of hateful private messages, and brands were severing ties with her. Was it the current girlfriend who commented about sending them a share of the money? I heard she mailed the abortion report to that scumbag. How tragic. People were digging up all sorts of information, and the situation escalated. No snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible. Yes, those who told the current girlfriend to die, you all share the blame. As a result, those major fans who had commented previously also faced cyberbullying. They claimed they were just students who had spoken without thinking and pleaded with the online community to spare them. Stop pretending, you didn't mind stirring things up with your comments, and now you play the student card, claiming ignorance. Who's going to coddle you? These students were bullied online to the point where they dared not go to school. Some dropped out, others became depressed. Every day, my inbox was filled with people apologizing, confessing, and righteously defending me. I just found it amusing. With just a keyboard, they play the role of judges of justice. Those who once cyberbullied me are now bullying those they once praised. Isn't it ironic? Why should I forgive them? If my death makes them uneasy or scared, then sorry, they can feel uncomfortable for the rest of their lives. Riley deleted all her YouTube videos, but it was too late. People had already saved them and continued to share them. People were sending chrysanthemums to her home and her mother's business every day. Terrified, she didn't dare to go out and sought out Neil again. Neil, help me, I want to sue those people. What do I have to do with you? Neil pushed her away. Don't you want Riley anymore? Don't you love her? She'll die. I don't love her anymore. My biggest regret is that I went soft and helped you regain your memory, Riley. I owe you nothing. From now on, we're done. Are we really done? Without your love, what's the point of me living? I might as well jump off here. Neil said nothing, gave her one last look, and walked away without turning back. The following day, the news of a girl who jumped from the Century building made headlines. It was that internet celebrity. I heard she always threatened her ex-boyfriend with suicide. He gave in every time, but this time, he didn't take her threat seriously, and she really did jump. That was really self-destructive. Neil seemed unaffected by the incident, continuing his routine of going to work and then heading home. Truly, Neil, the lawyer, had a strong inner resolve, however. Now he went straight home after work and avoided social gatherings. He would set the table for two when cooking, and after eating, he would water the flowers in the yard. Oh, he had cut down all the white roses in the yard and replaced them with a multitude of daisies. Day after day, he gazed affectionately and lost in thought at the daisies. How absurd. Is Attorney Neil doing all this because he loves me, or is it just to move himself? Does he think I would forgive him? Impossible. I want him to taste the despair of giving someone hope and then cruelly taking it away. Yet, I still overestimated my place in his heart. He seemed a bit affected, but not significantly so. 2 months after my death, someone suddenly followed me. It was my grandmother. Seeing her made me both anxious and angry. Why are you here? I took care of you from when you were 2 until you were 28. I got used to looking after you, and I'm not comfortable leaving you alone, that old lady, so. Every day my grandmother followed me as we wandered around the human world. Just watch if you want. Haley doesn't have to hide anymore when watching the people she likes. Grandma smiled when she saw me floating in front of Neil, but I felt like crying. Right, there was someone standing in front of my grave. It was Leo. Hey, ex-girlfriend, let's hang out. He brought a speaker and played the loudest DJ music from a bar right by my grave. It was somewhat disturbing to the neighbors. The old man next door complained about Leo disturbing his grandson's studies. We're already in the underworld, Grandpa. Why do I still have to study? The grandson retorted. You know nothing. Without a degree, you're doomed to hard labor here. The grandfather snapped, slapping him on the head. This scene truly stunned both me and my grandmother. Fortunately, Leo finished his cigarette and turned off the music. Let's meet earlier in our next life. Before I could respond, I heard the whispers of the onlookers, so handsome and so heartfelt. Just say yes. Unable to resist the encouragement of others, I softly replied, okay. Leo, standing in front of me, clearly hadn't heard, but suddenly his eyes welled up. He squatted down, silent and stubbornly continued to burn joss paper for me. If I had fought for it then, would the outcome have been different? Just say yes. Standing in front of him, I touched his head. I don't know. Neil took care of everything for my grandmother and me afterward. I didn't want it, but I was dead and couldn't resist. While sorting through my belongings, he found a shoebox. Inside it were the letters he had sent me in high school. He was shocked, trembling. He read each letter and finally collapsed on the ground, crying out loud. So, you were Lay. I've been in love with you since high school. Haley, I was wrong. I mistook Riley for you, approached her, fell in love with her, and couldn't let go. All because I thought she was you. I was wrong, terribly wrong. Can you come back and let me love you once more, Haley? He cried until his voice was hoarse. Oh, so Lawyer Neil finally remembers me. So, Lawyer Neil loved Riley. Loved her deeply because he saw her as me. He had loved me too, Grandma. I really feel like crying. That night, he drank a lot and finally, on New Year's Day, he leaped into the sea. Haley, I've come for you. I love you. Hearing those 3 words, my soul, along with my obsessions, instantly vanished into thin air. So, goodbye, Neil. I'm going to find my child with Grandma. Dear God, in my next life, let me and my child be sisters. At night, where no one could see, a strong wind blew outside the house. A letter that had fallen to the ground was blown open. It bore the strong, forceful handwriting typical of a young man. Dear Lay, I hope this letter finds you well. You mentioned struggling with physics, so I've organized some notes and study methods for you. Let me know if there's anything you don't understand. You said your classmates bully you, which worries me, but since I don't know where you study, I can't help you. Don't mind what others think. In my eyes, You're a kind and beautiful girl, deserving of the finest things in the world. By the way, I'm going to a university in the north. Keep your spirits up, okay? I'll wait for you at university. You asked in your last letter what type of girl I like. How about I tell you in person when you get to my university? It's gotten much colder recently. Has your city cooled down? Dress warmly. There's no need to diet. Don't be afraid of difficulties. I will always stand behind you, your big brother, Neil. At the end of the letter, there was a line of fresh ink, as if someone had just written it. Dear Lay, I can tell you now, the girl I like has a little orange cat. She's a bit shy, insecure, and sensitive, but I didn't fall for her just because of her strengths. I came to love her, seeing her vulnerabilities and stubbornness, which pained me but made me love her even more. Her name is Haley. I'm going down to marry her now, your big brother, Neil. The wind swept the letter into the air, up to the second floor. And finally, it landed on a yard full of daisies. Soon after, a heavy rain began to pour. The rain fell on the letter, the ink fading, and the black letters seeped into the soil with the rainwater. The young man's letter was received by the girl. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.